Hey guys, and welcome back to Regret Brexit England, Northern Ireland, and Eastern Europe. And in Brexit England, it seems that our Prime Minister, Rishi the Stick Insect, a man who listens to leprechauns and gets his clothing from the little person shop, has pulled off the impossible with a Brexit, an extra Brexit bit of negotiation, making Boris Johnson look like a damn idiot at the same time as pulling off the an unbelievable feat, right? That he's had to go to the EU and bang, bang down his hand down on the desks, a very small desk, but bang his hand, probably a plastic desk, but bang his hand down on it and tell the EU, this is what we want, and this is what you need to give us, right? And you could imagine there was some fist shaking, right? And there was some rattling of doors, right? And slamming down of papers and ripping off tissues. That Rishi Sunak has said, the thing is, right? This deal, this deal, right, is the deal of all time for everybody. The deal what Rishi Sunak has actually got, yeah, he's got a deal to be able to move goods within our own country. Now, what I'm wondering is what I'm missing, because I'm missing something. There's something there. There's something there that he has done, right, that I'm missing, right? Because it's like someone coming down to you and saying to you, right, well, before you couldn't go to the local shop. You had to go to the shop that was 4 miles away on foot. Now you can go to the local shop in your car. I said, well, what are you talking about? Why couldn't I go to the local shop anyway? Well, there was a deal. On a serious note, yeah, am I missing something here? Right, a man has just come back with a deal, right, to move goods within our own country. And I'm saying, well, what am I missing here? There's obviously something I'm missing. I know that these people was having a fucked up existence, right? With the Irish protocol, but that's the fault of the Brexiters. That's not the fault of people who said to you, "Sir, this is the shit that's going to happen." And now, right, we're all supposed to start bowing and scraping to a man who has managed to do a deal so he can move goods within our own country. So obviously, there's something that I'm missing. I'm missing. I'm seriously missing something. I don't know what it is I'm missing, but I've got to be missing something, right? But we're going to speak about that, right? Because there's a lot more to this bullshit. And welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages sent me, and a special thank you to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up. So thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages. I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. And I've just got to say an extended special thank you to everybody who has sent me a message saying, "Where the hell are you? Why the hell have you been doing videos?" I've just been off. I just took some time off. Sometimes a lot of this stuff, right? Because look at the state of the world. I look at this and I look at the state of the world, right? And the state of the world, right, is in one of the most fucked up places, right? Especially living in this country, it's in one of the most fucked up places it can possibly be in, right? Because everywhere you look around the world, it seems that there seems to be the wrong people in power wherever you look, right? If whether you look in Israel, because I'm sure they've just got a deal to get Netanyahu back in. I mean, America's not too bad at the moment, but you still got Trump banging on about this different nonsense, right? You look over here and we are still being, the children have locked the adults outside the door, right? And the children are still running this country. But yeah, so I just took some time off because just to comprehend all this nonsense. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of this stuff is, and obviously you had the Tyree Nichols, which was a very very because so far up till now, right, I haven't had one pundit, right, and I've listened to all of them, whether it's Al Sharpton or the Young Turks or Morning Joe or whoever. I've listened to all of them. Right? And not one of them can make any sense of that. But I was at a funeral just the other day, and one of my friends just said something to me, and he said to me, something, right? Well, it's just what normal, isn't it? It's just they just pay. They just find the person who's the big man in the place. Just pay that person. And that can explain so much, especially when you've got like five black guys who are going to brutalize and murder a black guy there while they're in uniform. It can just explain so much. But I always say to people, look, if you want to explain actions like that, you need to watch a film called Django Unchained and watch the part that Samuel L. Jackson plays. He plays a guy named Stephen, right? And he is the world's worst black guy ever. Right? Samuel L. Jackson plays the part really, really well. But anyway, look, let's go over to America. Let's get, saying Samuel L. Jackson from America. So let's go to America because, we've had this deregulation business now, right? Because we've had a massive train crash in America where, I believe it's in, what's it called? Palestine in America, right? But Donald Trump has gone over there and he's started giving people like Big Macs and fries and milkshakes because he knows how guilty he is because he deregulated this, right? Because Barack Obama put regulations on these people so that so the brakes, they'll have to keep upgrading the brakes all the time. Needs to upgrade them every time the new brakes come out, upgrade them straight away, right? So Barack Obama put that on and he was putting in the thing where these trains are to be made like a safe. Right, so if they do come off the track, right, there's no spillages because these they carry chemicals. Right, Donald Trump come along, right, and he deregulated the lot, right, and this is the result. Right, the train has come off the tracks, right, and you've got all these Republicans, right, trying to blame Biden for this, but this is directly down to Donald Trump, right, with his deregulation. And you see over here, we've got Jacob Rees-Mogg talking about deregulation every minute, right, because this is the type of thing that regulations bring in, and that's why it's good to have someone who's over your government, watching over your government, saying, no, 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 you can't put raw sewage in water. We've got raw sewage in our waters simply because we're no longer in the EU. That's why you're swimming in raw sewage. And then we've got Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch has just thrown all of those Fox hosts under the bus. Whether it's Tucker Carlson or that blonde woman or all of them, Hannity, all of them, throw them all under the bus, because he's just said, well, yeah, they all knew that Donald Trump was lying, and that's right, we pushed it because simply for the ratings, because Newsmax was at our heels, so we had to go with it. This is what Rupert Murdoch just said. He's just blatant with it, right? And he said, well, just look at their text messages. I mean, he hasn't said it like this, but this is the truth. Just look at their text messages. All of their messages, right? All these guys' messages have come back and said, well, you know what? These people are crazy. Whether it's Sidney Powell or the ex-mayor of New York, these people. Right? Behind the scenes, they're saying, well, these people are crazy. These are some of the nut jobs, right? But yet for all, they're still prepared, right, to have these people on air tearing down the whole of the American system, right, pushing the big motherfucking lie, just like that. And you think to yourself, why the fuck would you do that? And Rupert Murdoch just come and he's just thrown them all under the bus. But the thing with this, right, is the people who, because obviously I've known this all the time. I mean, most of us have known this. We knew it was a lie. We knew what Donald Trump was saying was a lie. So we knew the truth, right? Because you don't go to 60 courts, right? There's no way you go to 60 courts and they're just like, well, and all your cases are thrown out. Right? Judges work off of evidence. That's it. You give a judge some evidence and they'll work off of it. Right? So we knew that there was nothing in it. Right? But Donald Trump has been pushing it, and then the whole of Fox News have been pushing it. And Rupert Murdoch, now because he was under oath, and he knows that if he goes up there and lies, right, that his ass can go to prison. And there's no way someone who's nearly 100 years old needs to be in prison. Right? But so he knows. He's just gone up there and he's just told the truth. But he knows that, most of the people who watch Fox, they ain't really interested in that anyway. It's like, so what? I mean, they're not. Most of them would be like, well, it's a lie. It's a lie anyway. I don't understand. The polarization of the politics. I mean, because a judge said that a couple of years back. Judge said about Tucker Carlson anyway. He said, listen, anybody who believes anything Tucker Carlson said, you're a damn idiot, because this man is a fantasist and he never ever tells the truth. right? So the judge will say, I'm throwing this case out because, like, it would be impossible for anyone to believe what he's saying. And Tucker Carlson got off with the case because the judge was just like, well, this is just what he says is just completely ridiculous. So you cannot take him to court on the back of that. And he's still doing it prime time on Fox News. He's still doing it. Even now, right, that his messages have come out, he's still doing the same thing. But let's move back over to England and let's go back with Rishi Sunak, because Rishi Sunak, yesterday, I was watching Rishi Sunak's speech when because he was in Ireland, and he had like a stack of Coca-Colas behind him. What the fuck is the significance with the Coca-Colas? But anyway, look, Rishi Sunak went on to tell the people in this Irish warehouse that Northern Ireland has the best deal in the world. And I was like, did he just say what I just think he said? What? There's no way. It's impossible that Rishi Sunak, right, believes that the Brexiters, right, are as stupid as that. He can come out and he can say, well, yeah, well, Northern Ireland have the best deal because they've got a foot in the EU and one foot in the United Kingdom market, and nobody in the world has got that deal, and that's the best deal that you can have in the world. And I was like, is this fool serious? Because he's just said what he's not supposed to say. I mean, you're not supposed to say that. But then, when you think about it, right? If you think about it logically, these are the same people who will convince people. Well, actually, it's more their supporters. It's like, well, so it's all that socialism. No, we don't want that socialism. That's like communism. That is a communism. At which point, you really need to pull them up and say to them, hold on a minute. So, are you saying to me, yeah, is that a road sweeper and a surgeon? Right. Even those surgeons that separated those kids the other day, the conjoined twins, right, they're saying a road sweeper and even those get paid the same money, or like maybe a footballer, right, and a warehouse worker. You're saying that these people get paid because that's what communism is, right? That's communism. And say, well, no, but what am I with socialism? And say, well, so you mean like having your having your housing costs paid, having subsidised food, right, having your travel costs paid, and having all your utilities paid. Do you mean that? Because that is socialism. And guess who lives like that? They do. Every last one of them. Every last one of them are telling people, well, socialism is terrible. It's shocking. While they're all living on socialism, whether they're the royals, the lords, or all the MPs. I'm sure a lot of the sirs and the ladies also will be living off of socialism, while convincing people who actually probably do need socialism that socialism is terrible. And so, how did they do it? But they do it in the same way that Rishi Sunak can just in a speech can just say, well, to be honest, right, the best deal that you can have is to be in the EU. Because that's what he said. And now, just imagine how the people of Scotland feel. Because obviously now, if Ireland have got that foot in the EU now, yeah, any major company, right, who want to just, be able to get their goods straight into the EU, their first stop is Ireland. It can't be England, Scotland, or Wales because they have no foothold in the EU. So their first, because that's an English-speaking nation, right? Which was what any companies that used to come to this country, and set up business over here was because there's a lot of factors to it, right? And one of those, right, was the fact that we are an English-speaking nation. Okay, and English is the second. Is most. In most countries, is the second language in most other countries. So therefore, setting up your business in England with a foot straight into the EU is good. And now Ireland have got that, but Scotland, Wales, or England don't have that. So if anybody can tell me how they can expect to get business to come to England, Scotland, or Wales when they haven't got a foothold into the EU. Now, I know you're thinking to yourself, well, that British Volker's just been sold to some Australian company. Yeah, because, the electric car market is going to get bigger and bigger. So the people who put all that money in British Volker in the first place, yeah, they probably was never ever going to make a profit out of it. So, but now, we're getting further and further to the times where they're going to need a lot more electric. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer and closer to that time. Because remember by 2030, they want most petrol cars off the road. So, there's going to be a lot more electric cars. So British Volt, unfortunately for them, they just went too early. But obviously an Australian company. So that's the only thing, because that's quite a secure market. But anything else, any other business that's going to come here, if they're only coming in here to sell within this market, then that's fine. But if they're coming and they want to start selling stuff worldwide, then they're not coming here. They'll go to Ireland, but they won't come here. So Rishi Sunak saying that out loud, it just really. But then the cheek of it. Now you've got Michael Gove's ex-wife coming out, and she wants us to have compassion for her because she has lost friends through Brexit. I think her marriage broke up and all that through Brexit. But this is the woman who was writing that the headline, something about the saboteurs and enemies of the people and all these type of things. She is a vile. There's only one more person that's even more vile than her, and that's Isabel Oakeshott, who's come out of a load of nonsense today. But I can't remember what her name is now, but it's Michael Gove's ex-wife, right? I think she writes for the Daily Mail, right? But she is one vile individual, right? And then you've got Brexit hardman Steve Baker talking about how Brexit has turned him crazy. And I'm like, it's okay for you to come out now and expect compassion from people, but what you have done to people's lives, you've destroyed people's lives, completely destroyed. And it's okay for these people because the difference is these people are rich. If you're rich, Brexit ain't going to affect you in the way how it's going to affect the poor and the working classes, the people who are really going to get slam dunked by it. Because these guys could just go off to they could just go off to Barbados for 3, 4, 6 months. Just go and sit down on the beach. Go to Singapore. Right, they can go wherever they want. Working class and poor people and even middle class people don't have that option. That option is not open to you. It's not open to you under any circumstances. It's not open to you. Right? You have to stay here, right, and just fucking crack up. Because people have lost their businesses. But yet for a Brexit hardman, Steve Baker, self-named, wants people to come and say, oh, poor you. Yeah. Along with, oh God, what's her name? Sutton Vine. Yeah, Sarah Vine. Right. Along with Sarah Vine, these people want us to be compassionate for them after what they have done. Because they can see what they've done, but still they're not coming out and saying, something, it was a real bad mistake. What? Oh no, they're talking about, oh, look at the effect that it's had on me. I've lost my friends, I've lost family, I've lost some of my neighbours don't speak to me, I've lost my husband and all this fucking nonsense, right? Look what they've done to people's lives. These people have destroyed people's lives, and now they expect sympathy from the people of this country. Well, I will say to them, something, yeah? What you people deserve is just one thing, a good old-fashioned British gesture. And my friends, I'm going to bow out of here. But as I say, I have to thank everybody who said, where the hell are you? Get back on the videos. So I have to bow out of here. Even though this one's gone it's gone like 8 minutes over. I should have went, but 9 minutes now. When I should have went. But anyway, look, I'm going to bow out of here. My friends, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.